And I get all my facts from my bro, Mark the Stats Man. If you're not tuned in, I recommend the CAT scan. And if your brain checks out, then you deserve a backhand. Sports, gossip, all the hot topics. Real fans, realtalk.com got it. They got the hottest bloggers.
Is Jeremy Lin hurt?
Well, log onto the site and you can hear it from them first. I'm talking about the latest, I'm talking about the greatest. Go check out the archives, even tell a neighbor, tell them Bobby sent ya. From spring to winter, tuning in should be the only thing on your agenda. Certified cosign, you know what I'm about, son. Real fans, realtalk.com, I'm out, boom. Real fans, real talk. Real fans, real talk. Real fans, realtalk.com. Real fans, realtalk.com.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are officially back. Another very live episode of Real Fans, Real Talk, and of course, I'm Trip Young. But I got a crazy group of co-hosts with me today. I'm gonna start it off with the man on my right, Mark the Stat Man Skevich.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Another live episode here on BronxNet Television. I'm Mark the Stat Man Skevich. As you can see, I'm still repping that New York Knicks jersey, even after the loss in Brooklyn that they had. Still got to rep the Knicks regardless. Knicks still number one, representing Stoudemire, a.k.a. Statman in the building. And our other co-host, I got something special for him to wear too. Another one of my favorite players, the one and only Eli Manning. So Sean Fontaine, put that on.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. How's everybody doing? Hope you had a happy Thanks. Both my teams lost this weekend, of course. Florida State and the Cowboys lost. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I didn't think we was going to get into it this early.
For those of you that don't know, we have this segment on the show called Shot for Shot, and the way it works, basically, we have a judge, two contestants, ask a series of questions. The loser has to wear team apparel from a team that they hate. My co-host over here, Sean Fontaine, is a Cowgirls fan. That's a Dallas Cowgirls fan. Division rivals against the Giants. A little bit of a hate from Eli Manning and the G-Men, but
that's a good number for you, though.
I know it's still that jersey still has some burn from from the hate of.
You know what? I don't actually hate the
co-hosts.
Giants that much. You know, I hate the. I don't hate. I dislike the Redskins and the Steelers a whole lot more.
So hate is a strong word.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think that might be a ploy for us to not give him the Eli jersey anymore.
I think that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, he's trying to get away from that. But you know what? Unfortunately, guys, I hate to start the show off this way, but we do have a sad note. We lost one of our great boxing legends, and you guys know we are huge boxing fans. You know, we talk about boxing all the time. You see, we got Big Daddy got his glove up here on the set, but we lost Hector Camacho this weekend. He was shot in the head, and he was on life support, but his family decided to take him off of life support. So, you know, he passed away, and we want to take a minute, give him a moment of silence for Hector Camacho.
All right, and to go over his career spanned 3 decades from 1980 to 2010. He fought a total of 88 fights. 79 of them were wins. 45 of those wins were by knockout, 6 losses and 3 draws. And he's the first septuple champion that's winning in several different weight divisions. He had in 89 and 91, he won the WBO junior welterweight, but he started lighter in his career with the super featherweight in 83 and the lightweight in 85. We also mentioned on the RealFansRealTalk.com radio show, which airs Sundays at 7:30 p.m. We got into a little bit more details about his career. He had a little bit of a film career as well, in a couple of reality shows over in Puerto Rico where he was born, and it's still in the air as far as whether he's going to be buried in New York or in Puerto Rico. So,
but when you mention his TV career, you know I had to bring this back up. You know, I spoke about this on the air. You know, my man Hector Camacho was on the Wayans Brothers, and he played Manuel de Hot Pepper Lopez. and he fought Marlon Wayans in a 3-round bout for charity, and it was one of the funniest episodes the Wayans brothers had. You know, shout out to Hector Camacho. You know, he always had the curl in the front, so he was a good guy though. You know, he did a lot for the sport of boxing, had an amazing career, and we want to send our heartfelt condolences to family, friends, fans, and just anybody in general that you know, whose lives he touched throughout his illustrious career. And as you see, there's my man right there, Manuel, the Hot Pepper Lopez,
Pretty
with
boy,
the championship belt. Exactly.
Macho Camacho.
There we
Rest in
go.
peace.
Exactly.
We do have another loss in the sports world. We're gonna get into that a little while, but we don't want to, you know, be in the Debbie Downer moment for the whole show. We're gonna get into another big loss in the sports world a little later on. But one thing, Sean, we could agree with is that the Eagles are are having a little bit of difficulty there. Monday Night Football.
Oh man.
They actually haven't won since the Phillies won on October 1st. So Philadelphia has not had a win in the sports franchise since October 1st. That's almost 2 months. So
Wow.
it's a little rough there. What do you think about that Monday night game? And what I want to ask both of you, if Michael Vick was healthy, do you think it would have made a difference? But
I think Michael Vick is sitting back right now laughing, and he's saying that it's all on him because Nick Foles had a whole lot to deal with, you know, in the game as well. So he's probably, like I said, he's sitting back laughing like, you see, they're not blocking. They don't block for me. They don't block for you. So,
Yep.
I've been
You
saying
know what,
the
they-
last
you know-
couple of weeks, it's called a lookout block.
exactly.
Look out!
Look
They're
out.
coming.
But they
They're
weren't
coming.
even really passing that game, and you know it sucks because this has actually affected my fantasy
injuries,
game
some injuries
because they
also.
lost Deshaun Jackson for the season. Now I'm gonna have to go and try to recruit another wide receiver to kind of play the backup to the backup of the backup since Deshaun Jackson is out. But yeah, I agree with you. You know, Michael Vick is sitting back laughing. I'm sorry. I like to see Michael Vick play because he's one of my favorite quarterbacks.
no doubt.
And, you know, as you can see, it's not Michael Vick. The O-line is horrible. They have not improved that O-line since Michael Vick has been there. And the least you could do for Michael Vick, knowing the style of play that he does, is get him a decent O-line. They didn't even have a halfway decent O-line. You know, so they're not going to win. I think this is definitely going to be Andy Reid's last year. The 7 losses in a row. Like you said, they haven't won since back in October. You know, like it's not even fun anymore, you know, being a Giants fan.
So it's almost like you feel bad for them
Yeah.
a little bit, right? You
I
know?
mean, they need to go in that realm of teams that you just can't mention anymore. It's like the Jets.
the Jets.
The
yeah.
garbage green.
Yeah,
you know.
that's what it is.
Is that green? That ugly green.
And it hurts me to say this, but my Cowboys are not too far away either because they've been letting me down. And I don't get it.
They almost there. We do have to talk about the Jets today, and I know I said I wasn't going to speak about the Jets, but I'm actually not speaking about the Jets. I'm going to speak about my man Fireman Ed, who actually quit on the Jets as well. He will no longer be at the game in the stands, getting the crowd hyped up and involved. He said he's had enough, just like we've had enough talking about the Jets. And
You know, I don't want to mislead the fans out there, though. Fireman Ed, and the letter that he wrote, he left during the middle of the game. A lot of the details of why he quit were because of the Jets fans. Actually, he got into a lot of confrontations with, you know, they were probably drunk Jets fans or just miserable Jets fans in general. I guess Jets fans are miserable. What are you going to do? They can't win. But he also, the fact that he's been wearing a Mark Sanchez jersey all season, he said, took into effect as well, because Mark Sanchez, let's face it, is not exactly the most popular guy in the Jets world. They're not liking him too much right now. Some hoping for Tebow, some just wondering why Mark Sanchez got Aaron Rodgers money. So for those of you who don't know, Fireman Ed is like kind of the unofficial mascot over there trying to get the Jets crowd riled up. And Rex Ryan was sad to see that that he resigned, but he left during the middle.
That's sad when you got fans quitting on you.
yeah, well,
Well, he
such an
said he's
iconic fan at
still
that.
going to be in the stands watching the game. He's still a
He's gonna
Jets
be in
fan,
regular clothes?
but he's just going to be in
He's
regular clothes.
gonna have a suit and
he's
tie
not
on
gonna be-
at the game.
He doesn't want to stand out like he did and have fans like, you know, he said, he quoted like, I could hold my own, but he doesn't want to do anything stupid. And you know what? You know, people in sports, they want to fight over, like, you know,
But that's like
the
Spike Lee
simplest
quitting on the
things. It's
Knicks,
like,
man. That's like He's
Did you
like
see
an
that commercial
iconic
last
film.
night?
You know,
You saw those commercials last night?
yeah, I did. I like those commercials.
Yeah.
That the black and white and the orange and blue.
Yeah.
You know what? We're gonna have to talk about that. Let's jump into a little bit of basketball. We're gonna take a break from football and come back to
That's
basketball.
the first thing we should have been talking
Yeah,
about. I
because-
touched on a little bit since
yeah.
I'm wearing the Knicks
Leading
jersey.
cause
And
of alcoholism.
you know, I just want this logo right here. If we can go to my camera for a second, and we can show this logo here, this Brooklyn Nets logo that I'm wearing on my hat today. You know, I had to wear this for my borough, and you know, they played the Knicks in the first ever Subway Series NBA game. Yeah, I see we getting a nice little close up right there. Get that hat. Yep, got that Nets logo. Oh, there you go, right there. Boom, there it is. And it started last night. The Subway Series did start last night with the Nets getting an amazing overtime win over Statman's Knicks, and it felt good, you know, hearing them in the stands. Brooklyn. It just, you know, Hov was on the sidelines. Beyonce's out there. You know, it was just a good look for
Hov was
Brooklyn.
going through it for a
and
minute.
and they're looking pretty good right now, coming off of beating the Clippers, then the Trailblazers, and then the Knicks last night. You know, they're doing their thing right now, man.
If the Knicks are going to lose to somebody, at least if it's a Brooklyn team, then I don't mind. I'm born and bred in Brooklyn as well. There we go with the Jay-Z 99 pounds and the Knicks ain't won. All right, it might not be a problem now. It's the first game. It was in Brooklyn. It's almost fitting that Brooklyn takes it in Brooklyn. It's going to be a hell of a rivalry. The basketball battle of the boroughs, I like to call it. And it started in Brooklyn, and it looks like right now Brooklyn's got the edge on the Knicks, and they move up to second in the Eastern Conference, first in the Atlantic Division, just surpassing the Knicks with that victory. So big win for Brooklyn for a lot of reasons, and the crowd chanting, even the crowd chanting Brooklyn at the end of it. You know,
Kind of hype.
You gotta love it, man. You gotta love it.
It got me hyped a little bit being born and bred in Brooklyn. So even though I'm a diehard Knicks fan, that was still an enjoyable moment. And then Kenny the Jet Smith, I have to mention this, talking like he knows what he's talking about. People in Brooklyn have been saying that chant for years.
Oh, like the
For 20
teams
years.
and everything since the 80s? Yeah.
And I like how Charles Barkley made fun of him. How would you know?
Why would you say that?
Yeah.
Why would you say
Like,
that?
what do they just walk down the street and say, "Brrr"?
But no, really, they really walk down the street and say Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, you know
not
what?
for 20 years.
When I was
it
in-
started in 2007 with the Brooklyn song.
When I was in high school, you know, we always, because I went to high school in Harlem, so we always had the Battle of the Boroughs days. And Brooklyn, I don't know, for some reason, Brooklyn always seems to be the biggest crowd. And that it could be just one person from Brooklyn, but they are always the loudest person.
And rambunctious.
And yes, they are. I'll say that they are. But you know, they seem to get that point across, that whole Brooklyn thing. You know, but I got to say this about the game. I do feel like if they had actually, because this was the replacement game they were supposed to play from the start of the season. You know, I think that if they had played the Knicks in that game, I feel like the Knicks would have beaten them in that game. But it's just, you know, now with, you know, the chemistry is starting to get better between them. Joe Johnson has kind of turned it on from when he started off the season a little bit slow. You know, you even got Brook Lopez rebounding out there, and he's blocking shots. He had 5 blocks last night, you know, and they getting a nice little spark from as Shaq likes to call him, Big Dog, Reggie Evans. You know, he's been a rebounding machine for them. And they're looking good. I'm glad. It's good for the city though to have, you know, both teams playing such good basketball. Shout out to the Knicks as well. You know, it was a great game nonetheless. And I'm looking forward to seeing 3 more games during the regular season. And I'd really like to see the Knicks and the Nets go at it in the playoffs as well, because that would be big for New York if they played each other in the playoffs.
New York basketball is relevant now again. It's been a long time. The Knicks still not yet to get out of the first round. In over a decade.
The Nets are going to do it before them.
You got a lot of salty New Jersey people right now too.
well.
Yeah, well,
A lot of them. I don't know what to tell them.
it
but
happens. It happens.
Hey, sorry, boss.
You know, hey, man, it happens. You can still support the Nets. You just gonna have to get you one of these.
They support the Giants. They play in Jersey.
Exactly.
And,
And they're not even a New Jersey
The Nets
team.
did make the NBA Finals when they were in Jersey and stuff too. So
There
I
you
mean,
go.
if the Knicks and Nets don't play in the playoffs this year, it's bound to happen eventually,
Oh,
probably several times in the future.
The last time they played each other in the
Hologram,
playoffs, the Nets did bump the Knicks out, which was, you know, the
Well,
last time they both were there at the same time.
I'm talking about as far as while they're both New York as opposed to New Jersey.
New Jersey. But it's gonna be a good look. I'm loving it. The season started off very well for both teams. The Knicks have been playing some good basketball. A very defensive team. Mike Woodson has got those guys looking really good. You're not going to win 82 games. I know the stat man predicted them going 82-0.
I never said
you said 62 and 20 is what I remember.
Oh, no, I still stand by the 62 and 20. I'm not backing down
that was the reality, predictions. But it's going to be a good season. NBA is looking very good. But we're going to jump, while we're on New York sports, we're going to jump back into football because the man whose jersey you are donning right now, Mr. Eli Manning.
The two-time Super Bowl MVP,
that guy?
Two-time Super Bowl MVP?
Okay, how many does Romo have?
He's the man right
Tony
now.
Romo, what is he got?
He's a two-time...
Hey, I'm not defending that man.
Okay.
He's going to be eliminated in the first round.
Yeah, exactly. But no, Eli actually passed Phil Simms, and he is now the leader in passing touchdowns amongst New York Giants quarterbacks. Another big accolade.
And he's got so many years to go too. So it's like,
he's
around
it's not even gonna be close.
He's around 9 years right now in the league.
Yeah, he got at least 7, 6.
Yeah.
And he's a
going after all Brett Favre's records.
Exactly.
And
you gonna have him come out of retirement again. So I don't think you want to do that.
Exactly. If he score any more, he's coming back.
He'll pull a Roger Clemens and play for some no-name.
Right.
Exactly. Just to
catch the stats. He's coming out of retirement. Brett Favre
with his Wrangler jeans on. So that's definitely going down. But the Giants, they are back. They demolished the Green Bay Packers. That bye week, I said last week, they needed that bye week. They needed that rest to kind of get everybody back on the same page and get them refocused. And this is the Giants' time. This is when they start to heat up. And like I said, they completely dominated. Eli outplayed, Aaron Rodgers. As we said, we did say he was gonna do. And the defense looked good out there. Osi Umenyiora he's looking like he has his speed back, and that defense is. I think they're ready to make that push for the playoffs. They got the Redskins this coming week. Against the RG3, who's also been hot, and I don't want to hash any old wounds as they just beat up on the Cowboys.
I felt like that was a homecoming game. First of all, RG3 is from Texas. Is he not?
Okay.
He played for Baylor, so he went home, he did his thing, and he scored us, and they wanted to make, and the Cowboys tried to make a late run. I mean, that was that, but RG3 definitely did his thing.
Yeah,
Definitely.
He did. So I'm looking forward to that matchup. We're gonna take a quick intermission from the football talk. I do, because we are celebrating, some of the accolades of Hector Camacho. We got a little video that we're gonna run for you. A little bit of highlights from Hector Camacho in the ring.
Know that you feel me somehow. You're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be, and I don't wanna go home right now. And all I could taste is this moment, and all I can breathe is your light. And sooner or later it's over. I just don't want to miss. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am. Tears that ain't good, all the moaning, the truth in your lies. When everything feels like the movies, yeah, you bleed just to know you're alive. And I don't want the world to see me,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome back. We just saw some crazy highlights of Hector Camacho.
A little bit of a wrestling.
Yeah, what was that? The do-si-do around the merry-go-round move or something? But shout out to Hector Camacho
Trying to
again,
do the
man.
back suplex.
Yeah, was that the Kurt Angle move there? I don't know what's going on with that. But again, shout out to Hector Camacho. You know, we send our condolences to family, friends, and fans. You know, what you did in the ring is going to live on for a long, long, long time, and what you did outside of the ring as well. So,
R.I.P. Hector Camacho. As we mentioned earlier, we have another death in the sports world. Marvin Miller died today at the age of 95, diagnosed with liver cancer. For those of you that don't know, he revolutionized free agency, actually created free agency in December of 1975. Before that, you know, players really didn't have too many rights. He fought for pensions. He caused strikes, and it benefited both sides. Even though the owners didn't like the fact that happened, from a player's perspective, what's going to motivate you to dedicate your career to become a baseball player if you're not going to be making any money? So it made the talent a lot better. And it made baseball a lot better. The salaries went up, and the profit for the owners went up. So it worked out good for everybody. He fell short of the Hall of Fame voting in 2010. He's eligible again in 2013. Guys like Hank Aaron said, back in 2000, they should put him in the Hall of Fame even if players have to break the doors down. Hank Aaron also once stated that Marvin Miller is almost as important to the game of baseball as Jackie Robinson, and that's a huge, bold statement. That's coming from Hank Aaron, who was criticized for being black or going for the home run record, breaking Babe Ruth's record. So that's huge that he would go out and make a statement like that. So, like I said, it's another sad loss in the sports world. Marvin Miller, he died 5:30 a.m. this morning. Today, for those of you not watching live on BronxNet, is November 27th, but we are here live on BronxNet Television. We air every Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once again, R.I.P. Marvin Miller revolutionized the game of baseball. And, one of those things, the fact that we have free agency worked out for Evan Longoria, who just signed a contract for $100 million. So he should be thanking Marvin Miller a little bit that their free agency exists.
He should be writing some letters to the voters and get him on there. Yeah,
exactly.
Shout out to Evan Longoria too.
I definitely don't think it's going to be a problem getting him in the Hall of Fame nowadays, with being that the franchises are making money off of it. Of course, they didn't like it at first, but now it's like everybody's benefiting.
I mean, but that's why he was the executive director of the Major League Baseball Players Association starting in '66. It was 16 years. It took him 9 years to develop the free agency. The owners didn't like it, and he's long since been retired, and the owners have been making money, but still, very against him.
That would mean admitting that they were wrong.
Yeah.
So, the owners can be stubborn a lot of times.
Especially rich people definitely don't want to admit being wrong.
Yeah. So, but again, condolences, and hopefully he will make it into the Hall of Fame in 2013.
And Evan Longoria, the $100 million, he's been saying that he wants to play his entire career in Tampa Bay. Nobody's really done that before. A recognizable long career, and with that contract, it should make sure that his
37.
Yeah, 37. And they'll probably if he makes it 37, he'll have what I like to call Jeterisms, which means that you just gotta kind of re-sign him until he wants to retire.
Yeah. He's kind of the face of the franchise.
Because he's that now. So at that point,
they have no help with the outfield and the infield. It's real suspect. Definitely.
And he definitely deserves that contract. He's one of the best players in baseball, and he's turned that franchise around from the bottom of the American League East to being in contention, with the Yankees and the Red Sox on a yearly basis. These past 4 or 5 years, they've been in competition. Usually it's just the Yankees, Red Sox, here and here, back and forth, and now you can't.
One of the big reasons why Tampa Bay is even a name that's even mentioned in that American League East. So,
Exactly.
And speaking of the Yankees in the American League East, Andy Pettitte looks like he's going to be coming back. It's not official yet, but it looks like a one-year deal for $11 million. It's not all signed, but looks like that's what it's going to be. So Pettitte finished five wins, 4 losses last year. A decent season for Pettitte, especially at his age. And you know, that's not. I mean, he played for Houston for a bit, but it's still kind of the face of the Yankee franchise as well, winning all those rings with the Yankee franchise alongside Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera.
Exactly, and Mariano, who should be back this season. Then they also got Kuroda back, which is going to make that pitching staff is looking pretty good. I'm excited to get back into the season. Well, listen, we're not going to speak on A-Rod anymore because we've been pushing for them to trade A-Rod to somebody, but nobody wants to take him.
He's going to be nice again.
So. Oh yeah, of course he's going to come out, but he'll be on a team that doesn't make it to the playoffs every year, so he won't have any pressure on him, and
he won't have any,
that's why
big name ladies around either.
Exactly, yeah. So you can be flirting in the stands while you're getting your butts kicked on the field. But that's another story. We're gonna get back into some more football action from this past week because we got a lot that went on.
Yeah, well, your boys in Baltimore, that was a big one there. Ray Rice coming through with the play of the week. It was a 4th down. They needed 29 yards. He got about 29 and a few inches on that one after the review, and they pushed it back. It was a short pass, and the rest of it was all legs. It was probably about a 5-yard pass, and then he carried it. The defense was in a prevent defense, and he was able to run for those yardage and get that 1st down, which led to the field goal, which took it to overtime. And then when it looked like there's a possibility of it being a tie with overtime almost running out, a few minutes left, the Ravens managed to get the victory. I know Trip Young is a Ravens fan, so I'm going to let you talk about that. Ray Lewis might be coming back as well.
Yes, that's all right. I was at the edge of my seat that game, and it's like Pittsburgh had already lost to the Browns by that point, but you want to put as much space as you can in between the Ravens and the Steelers. You don't need to give them any kind of hope, and they came through. That may have been the best play this season, to throw a pass that short and for him to gain that, to do what he did and he got past 7 guys in a row. Nobody could, nobody could take him down, and they got that win in overtime. Like I always say, whether it's an inch or a mile, a win is a win. And at the end of the day, they came up with the W, and they're looking good going forward into the season, and and it's also, like Statman said, it's looking like Ray Lewis will be back this season. They're talking about that now. I don't know what it is in Baltimore, but these guys have some crazy injuries and managed to come back. Terrell Suggs was supposed to be done for the season,
well,
and
the Giants
he's
kind
back.
of did that last year. That's old news for them.
Oh, okay,
they
I'm sorry.
Injuries left and right, and they just come back and win a Super Bowl anyway.
I think it's my teams. Now, if we can get Ladarius Webb back miraculously, we'll be all right. But definitely glad that they picked up that win, and they got the Steelers next week coming up. Roethlisberger, they're talking about he may come back. I don't know. If he does come back, they're going to have to be very cautious with him because...
If he comes back this week, they were saying that he won't be the starter, so they might kind of ease him in.
But that doesn't even make sense.
Give him a drive here and there or something. I'm not sure.
Like the water boy as quarterback at this point. Charlie Batch is
well, they actually gave me a call, but I said I won't play for anyone except the Giants, and they have Eli Manning, as you already know. He's great. He's
you could have been the
backup
to the backup of the backup.
Well, Eli Manning doesn't get hurt. He's not a little girl. He's not like Michael Vick, Mr. Glass, who needs the bulletproof vest and still gets injured.
Look out lineman is
why didn't Michael Vick give Deshaun Jackson that bulletproof vest? He got the cracked ribs now. The entire Philadelphia Eagles, who are soft, need to all be wearing bulletproof vests in order to prevent.
That's what it is.
Prevent the fans from shooting them.
They should let the Philadelphia Eagles.
Andy Reid should be wearing one too, because they are fed up with them. I was in Philadelphia yesterday, having myself a cheesesteak over at D'Alessandro's, one of the famous spots over there in Philly. And in that spot, they're talking Eagles. Andy Reid this and Mike Vick this, and they just want to. They don't want Mike Vick back. They don't want to be paying him that big contract money. It's not really his fault.
Who do they have?
Well,
You know what's funny? Nowadays, a lot of teams don't really looking to have backup quarterbacks like that anyways, though.
I mean, they have Vince Young, and then we saw how that panned out.
You don't really have the not John Manning, but the Elways and
the Eli Mannings
the Steve Youngs and the Montanas. You don't really have that anymore. They go for the number one guy, and that's it.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Mannings, though, Chiefs running back Jamal Charles after the game asked for Peyton Manning's autograph. He said, I think it was for a friend's mother or something. He said, I mean, I don't have anything against it because it's not like during the middle of the game or anything like that. But he came along, he did, he did it, and it got some controversy on that one.
You gotta be on the low with that.
That's like Dale Earnhardt in Talladega Nights going up to Ricky Bobby and asking for his autograph. He's like, who should I make it out to? For me, I think you're great.
But man, you gotta send the equipment guy, somebody else to go do
Yeah,
it.
you can't
I'm
do
not
that
doing it.
yourself.
I'm sorry.
To the other team asking for autographs, that's a little bit crazy. That I couldn't do it. I'd be like, I have too much pride to go to the other team.
If you get the water boy or something to do it, then Peyton might not do it. So he did it for a friend. But we got a lot of sports to talk about. Getting back to Philadelphia's misery, not only is it that they have the Eagles not winning since the Phillies won in October 1st for like almost 2 months. They also have Andrew Bynum out indefinitely, which leads to our fan mail question. Matthew from Pittsburgh writes, looking back, was it a smart decision for the Sixers to trade for Andrew Bynum? Now, you got to think of it this way, Matthew. It seemed like, Andrew Bynum at the time, second best center in the league. He has his injury problems. It's a hit or miss. It's a little bit of a gamble. Looking back now, if you have a crystal ball and he's going to be injured, of course it wasn't a good trade for Philadelphia, but that's not how they saw it. They saw Andrew Bynum as debatably the second best center in the league last season. And, they lost Iguodala, who was very productive, but and the way the question is phrased, looking back, but we don't really have a crystal ball. Andrew Bynum is, like I said, he was the second best center in the league. And as far as an asset, if they're both healthy between Iguodala and Andrew Bynum, I would go with Andrew Bynum, but he's just not healthy. He's on his third knee surgery now, and he's very young too.
Like 22, right?
Yeah, he's very. I was just saying that he's very young.
He hurt his. Well, you know what? First of all, he was a problem in LA. He did what he wanted to do out there. He came to the Sixers.
Aside from the injuries.
Exactly. Taking 3-pointers. He comes to the Sixers.
With 24 seconds left.
24, he comes to the Sixers. He's closer to home, so you think he's going to have some common sense, but he doesn't. He gets hurt. Then he hurts his other knee bowling, all right? Then he has the nerve to come to the game with his hair like that. I don't know.
First of all, let me just say this.
I don't know.
All right? He hurt his knee bowling. It was not at the Real Fans Real Talk charity Rolling for Results event, which is this Friday at 7 o'clock p.m. at Bowmore Lanes in Times Square. So that was not the case. All right. Now, had he injured himself at the Real Fans Real Talk charity event,
for a good cause, I would have some sympathy.
Exactly,
for him,
I'd have some sympathy for him. But no, he didn't. But you know what? I can't say it was a smart decision because you are talking about the second best center in the league. If you have a chance to get a dominant big man, you gotta go for it because there's only but 5 good centers in the league right now. And if you can get one who has the abilities to do what Andrew Bynum can do, you have to get him. Now, granted, listen, injuries are part of the game. I know he's got Greg Oden's knees now, and he's out indefinitely. He may not come back, but at the time, you gotta make that trade. It's no question. Andre Iguodala, as good as he is, he comes a dime a dozen.
Yeah,
big man,
just
very important right now.
Just bad luck for Philadelphia. But more about the charity event that Trip Young was mentioning. The charity event is this Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., Bowmore Lanes, Times Square. All the information is on the RealFansRealTalk.com website under the charity section of the page. It's a $30 donation, and you get 2 hours of bowling, shoe rental, pink ribbon, and pink bracelet. and a chance to win prizes. We'll have the teams divided up, and it's the reason why you get those pink ribbons and bracelets is because of 100% of that donation goes to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation as they hope to find a cure. We were hoping to have it during Breast Cancer Awareness Month at the end of October, but Hurricane Sandy delayed things. It's going to be a fun event for a good cause. Might have some special guests showing up besides the Real Fans Real Talk crew, so it'll definitely be worth checking out. Make sure you make your donations in advance, and the link for the donation is on the realfansrealtalk.com website, once again under the charity section of the page. We got a big week in college football, though, so we got, on the way to the BCS, we have the SEC title game between Alabama and Georgia. Myself and Trip Young kind of agreed we got Alabama, roll tide as far as we mentioned that on the Real Fans Real Talk radio show, which airs Sundays at 7:30 on realfansrealtalk.com. So we kind of got that one. Notre Dame is already a lock in the BCS, and I'm kind of picking Alabama on that one too. But let's get Sean's take on the BCS and SEC games.
Going off the strength of schedule, Notre Dame is definitely the Cinderella this year. Coming out of playing in a lot of independent games, and they beat what Navy, Purdue, but those teams really wasn't contenders like that. They beat Michigan State, Michigan, Miami wasn't that big of a deal this year. But I think whoever comes out of the SEC is definitely going to be the national champion this year.
So we're pretty much all in agreement on that.
But you know what?
Roll Tide.
Nah, I'm going with UGA. I'm going with UGA, man. I'm going with the Dogs, man.
You know what? I can't
with the
knock
Dogs.
that hustle.
It could go either way. Alabama's the favorite, but speaking of favorites, speaking of SEC, there's a favorite to win the Heisman, Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Football?
Johnny Football,
As they like to call
Johnny
him.
Football. And when they nickname you Johnny Football, when they change your name to football, that's kind of a big deal. I mean, you're playing football, they're nicknaming you Johnny Football. He would be the first freshman, if it happens, to win the Heisman Trophy. He had a press conference earlier today. Very humble young gentleman, thanking his team and very team-oriented. He's not trying to take the credit for everything. He's thanking his offensive line for the success of the team. Statistically, passing yards, 3,419 passing yards, 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Not impressed with that? Okay.
Like
rushing yards, 1,181 rushing yards. He's a quarterback. 1,181 rushing yards and 19 touchdowns. So that's a combined total of 4,600 yards between rushing and passing, which is an SEC record. And he's a freshman.
And he passed Tim Tebow and Cam Newton. What they did, and
wasn't that his numbers last year in the NFL? Cam Newton's numbers. I'm like, come on now.
With more games.
Come on.
And like I said, he'd be the first freshman to win the Heisman Trophy. He is the odds-on Vegas favorite to win the Heisman, so we might actually see that happen, which would definitely be a big deal. The closest it's ever come, your boy AP, Adrian Peterson, in 2004, he finished second in the voting for the Heisman, and then we have a couple notable guys. I remember Herschel Walker, I believe, finished third.
UGA.
Some people were in the runnings in history as freshmen, but very, very few and far between even considered for the Heisman, and he's the odds-on favorite right now. So that's big news in college sports. Also in college sports, it's in press conference, you had a head coach of Colorado, John Embry, making some statements. I wanted to ask you, Trip Young, what your thoughts are of his statements. What he was saying is it's a very rare occasion that once a black head coach gets fired, or minority coach, I believe he phrased it as, gets fired, and on the collegiate level, they usually don't get a second chance. I think there was one other person in history that did. So his statements were, he knew where he was going when he got in, and it was like a one-shot deal type of thing. The coach before him didn't do that great of a job either, so maybe it's more on the recruiting players. But what do you think of his statements, Trip Young?
I agree with with what he's saying. I mean, it's as it is right now, as far as coaching goes on the collegiate level. Excuse me, it's pretty much the dominant is Caucasian coaches. There's not too many minority coaches.
Talking about HBCUs or whatnot.
Yeah, unless we're talking about the black schools, Grambling, or schools like that. There's not too many minority coaches, and it's true. They don't get second chances. You said that there's only been one who's actually been able to come back. And as we see Caucasian coaches get bounced around all the time. They can go to one school, maybe they'll win, and then they'll leave and go someplace else, but they'll lose and get bounced, and they'll still be able to get a job somewhere over here, or they'll go over there. We saw Rich Rodriguez who hadn't won a championship. He was able to bounce around. A lot of these coaches.
Do you think his statements will change that now that it was a public issue, or it's still
we're far from that?
Yeah. It's not like it's a cry for help, but it's just I think he just they just want just to be on the equal playing field.
Do you think that will help his chances of being hired again?
No.
Well, he might be looked at as a whistleblower.
Shaking the table. You don't really want that.
To be honest, I think they're gonna look at him more as a whistleblower than anything. Helping his
referee job then, since he's
yeah. I mean, listen, if you want to come down and sit on the panel, every so often, we can have a spot for you somewhere at the table.
All right, well,
but I think as far as coaching,
speaking of referees, though, I've been delaying it long enough.
That's fine.
It's time for the next episode of Shot for Shot. Sean Fontaine gets to take off that Eli Manning jersey, which he's been itching to take off. And
why gotta be all that? Why gotta be all that?
Championship film? I don't know.
Yeah, we just wanted to give you opportunity to see what it felt like to wear the jersey of a quarterback who actually wins Super Bowls. And I know
becomes a Super Bowl
there's some cowgirl fans here spread out throughout the studio, and it just doesn't get better for you guys. When you let RG3 come in and just beat up on you guys.
He had a homecoming game. It's cool.
In your house, he had
homecoming game.
Home field advantage, I guess, against the Cowboys in
our stadium. I don't really get that, but all right.
It happens.
Well.
But
for those of you that don't know how Shot for Shot works, we mentioned it earlier. We have the referee, obviously, as you can see, Sean wearing the referee jersey, and with two contestants. We ask a series of questions. Whoever Sean agrees with gets the point. If we both agree, there's no point given. We do that a little differently than some of the other shows out there. We don't want to give an advantage to the person that goes first and then bringing up all the points, and then the other person just agrees. So if we disagree, the referee is there to decide who gets the point. Let's get it started with the first question. Trip Young has been on a roll both on the TV and the radio show.
I don't appreciate that. I don't know about you, Stat.
What can I say? Listen.
But I don't appreciate it.
Neither do I. So
okay.
So it's cheaper. I don't have to pay the 20, the usual fix that Trip Young does.
20.
That's why you've been losing, duh. I got Hov said it best in the song. Now I know exactly how I feel to be a Laker. I'm going for my 5th win this week on the radio. Which airs every Sunday, 7:30 p.m. I'm on fire on the radio as well. I just came off of a big win, this past Sunday. I'm not trying to stop, man. I'm not trying to wear team apparel of a team that I hate. So, hopefully, they don't just throw me under the bus just so they can see me.
Dallas Cowboys.
We do take Shot for Shot very seriously. So we don't fix them. We keep the pride. So we keep the pride going. We do take it seriously. But if you want to check out how Trip Young got his victories, all our archive TV and episodes are on the RealFansRealTalk.com website. So make sure you check that out. But without further ado, let's get started with question number 1.
Ding,
Sean.
ding, 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 ding. Well, since Sir Trip is the champion and reigning champion, that means Statman, you are up first, sir. All right, Peyton Manning moved into second place on the all-time wins list at 149. Will he pass Brett Favre's record at 186 before he retires?
Well, if he does that, he would have to play 4 healthy seasons, no more neck injuries. It looks like his neck isn't bothering him. He was chasing Brett Favre before that injury. just like Eli Manning is now with most consecutive games played and started as a quarterback. So both the Mannings are tough, and I see them being able to take hits, being able to stay healthy. He would have to play 4 more seasons, which I think he has in him in order to do so, and I think he gets it done.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be able to do it. I will admit, at the beginning of the season, I didn't know how he was gonna come back and how he was gonna, fare with all of the surgeries and everything. But he's shown myself and a whole bunch of others that he still has it. He's not slowing down. So I gotta agree. I think he'll do it.
Yeah, that's definitely a tie because 186 minus 149 is what, only 37?
Yeah.
So that's easily done in 4 seasons.
If he has a lot of,
You know?
I mean, he would have to get over 12 wins or more in 3 seasons to do it in 3.
Yeah.
4 seasons, the way the Broncos organization is, I see him doing.
I can see him getting at least 10
And then
wins.
even if he goes like Brett Favre and decides to play for a team like the Jets or something, then he'll
that's
still
a
get a
little
couple of
different. Yeah,
victories
I
here
think
and
it's
there
safe
if
to
it's
say
5 years.
he'll probably retire a Bronco, and
Yeah.
37 victories. I don't think it's going to be too hard for him to
Especially not the way they're playing.
Exactly. On to the next one. Should Kaepernick start the rest of the season for the 49ers, Sir Tripp?
Oh man, this is a tough one because you know what, I like with Alex Smith. It's not like he's played bad this season. And last season, everybody thought he was finished, and they gave him a shot. Harbaugh came in and he looked like a very good quarterback this season. He's been playing well, up until the time that he got hurt. I'm gonna say no. Let Alex Smith finish what he started, because it's not like they did lose in the Super Bowl to the Giants, but it wasn't that it was. They lost in the NFC Championship game to the Giants, but it wasn't on his hands. It was a couple of bad special teams plays, and we could have saw something different. And I think that he's finally gotten the respect of his teammates, and he's playing well. Even though I know Kaepernick is hot right now, he's coming in, but give it to Alex Smith and let him finish what he started. I think Kaepernick is. It's just he's hot right now at the moment, but you got to go with Alex Smith to finish the season if he's healthy.
It's a very hot topic in sports right now. A notable 49ers controversy when someone was injured. Joe Montana, legendary Joe Montana, gets injured. Steve Young comes in and does justice out there, and they decide to get rid of Montana, who ends up playing for the Chiefs. Now, I could go either way with this one, but the fact that the 49ers are up 2.5 games right now, and Kaepernick has been playing better statistically, quarterback rating, and than Alex Smith has been doing this season, the past couple of weeks. I say since they're up 2.5 games, it's not really much of a gamble. Kaepernick has been showing that he could play. You want to find out what you got over there, even if it's for trade value for next season or whether that's your next starting quarterback for the next year. Yes, it's not Alex Smith's fault, and yes, last week the defense this past week the defense had a lot of plays that led to scores, so it wasn't all Kaepernick that's doing it. It's not like he's a savior or anything. It's not like Alex Smith played bad. Kaepernick is playing better. I think especially 2.5 games, it's not a difficult decision. I think Harbaugh goes with Kaepernick.
I'm about to go with Stat Man. Solely because, like you said, he's doing good right now. Might as well ride it till the wheels fall off. And then, if in turn he doesn't play good, you always have Alex Smith to throw back in the game.
Exactly. One loss is something the 49ers could afford right now and still be in a position to get that first-round bye. And then they know what they have. If he comes out and plays another great game, then if anything, it's trade value for one of the two quarterbacks. And, teams like Philadelphia are looking for somebody. So, and the New York Jets, but no one wants to pay that Sanchez contract.
Exactly. So. On to the next one. Which NFC South quarterback will throw for more yards on Thursday Night Football? Matt Ryan or Drew Brees? Stat Man.
This is a tough one, too. I mean, Drew Brees always throws for a lot of yards, but I think Matt Ryan versus the Saints defense, is a little bit easier of a matchup than Drew Brees against the Falcons defense. But Drew Brees is just such a talented quarterback. It's hard to go with Matt Ryan. I'm gonna go with Drew Brees. I can't pick Matt Ryan over Drew Brees. Even if it's, I mean, you got Turner, who's probably gonna get a lot of the yards for the Falcons. I think the Falcons will probably come up with the victory, but Drew Brees still gets some more yards.
I'm gonna disagree with you on that one. Part of the reason what you said, that Falcons defense is better than that Saints defense. Secondly, they're at home in Atlanta, and they have a chip on their shoulder for that close game that they lost to the Saints a couple of weeks ago, and they're looking to get some kickback behind that. Julio Jones he's healthy again. He had tweaked a little something. He's back. And they're coming to play football when they see the Saints again in Atlanta, and I think Matt Ryan is going to light them up.
I think it's going to be a lot more on the running game with them too. So.
Well, Michael Turner hasn't been doing anything these past couple of weeks. It has been on Matt Ryan's shoulders.
I'm about to go with Trip Young on that one. Solely because of the defensive numbers. We have
I gave him the rationale.
I
gave him the rationale to disagree with me and get
the
point.
They have the 32nd ranked defense in the league.
I already know. That's why I was initially going to pick Matt Ryan. It's just hard to pick him over Drew Brees.
And they technically have like the same. They had Brees has 33 yards for the year. Ryan has 34-25. So it's somewhere around the same. So I'm about to go with Trip on that one. All right, on to the next one. Should the Ravens bring back Ray Lewis? Should the Ravens bring back Ray Lewis as soon as he wants to? Do you think it'll be? Oh, I'm sorry. Should the Ravens bring back Ray Lewis as soon as he's healthy, or take it slow and save him for the playoffs?
I'm glad I go first on this. As much as I want to see Uncle Ray back on that field as soon as possible, It's crazy in itself that he's going to be able to come back, but you gotta slow play it in this situation. They're already in first place, and I don't see the team slowing down without Ray Lewis. So you gotta slow play him and bring him in, get him ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, you don't want to risk injury in this particular scenario, and they're winning without him. They're playing the Steelers without Roethlisberger, or Roethlisberger, not starting, or whatever the case may be. They're doing it with Roethlisberger, so I don't think they need him right now, and it's definitely more of a value to rest him further and go for the playoffs. So definitely. I mean, even though he's old, he still, has some more years left in him. So you don't want to chance.
Still a top 5 middle linebacker.
Yeah, so I think it's safe to say that's a tie. 17 years in the league, and he's doing his thing, and they're doing their thing without him. So let him rest for a little bit. All right. Which NY team had a better start this season, the Knicks or the Nets?
Oh, it's on stat, man.
It's on stat. I'm sorry.
It is on me. They have the exact same record. Brooklyn has the tiebreaker because they beat the Knicks. I think, on paper, the star power of Brooklyn's lineup is a little bit better than New York's. But I'm going to say the Knicks, not just because I'm a Knicks fan, but just because of all the pieces, all the new pieces and older pieces that they added to the team, and to be able to get that chemistry and to be able to play much better defensively than they have last year. A lot of doubt behind them. There was a lot more confidence in Brooklyn than there was in the Knicks before the season started because of the additions of Joe Johnson. Wallace, coming back off of injury, being picked up late last season. So I would say the Knicks.
Well, my title is definitely going to be on the line, and we are going to definitely, have to settle this thing. And by the looks of the things on, this logo here on my hat, I believe that says it all. Who I'm going with? I'm going with the Nets. They're playing some great basketball right now. They have got Brook Lopez, which is this is a miracle. He's rebounding and blocking shots. Darren Williams is running. He is really doing this thing, with that offense. He's getting everybody involved. Joe Johnson is starting to heat back up. And that bench is playing well. And of course, they're coming off of beating the Knicks. like I said earlier, prior to that, Portland and the Clippers, where he matched up with, when that was arguably the top 2 point guards in the league, and he and they beat the Clippers. I gotta go with the Nets.
So they got 3 wins in a row against the teams that you mentioned, but the Knicks had a stronger schedule also during the course of the season as well, being the Heat, Boston, the Spurs.
They also beat the Celtics, and they beat the Knicks, who you're referring to.
Did they
right
beat
now.
the Spurs though? I mean,
They haven't played. They haven't played the Spurs.
Fellas.
I'm saying as far as start of the season and bigger wins.
You know what's funny is right now I kind of agree with you both, and I want to throw my own question out there. This is a bit of a tiebreaker. What team do you think will go further in the playoffs?
Well, you can't. You got to give a point. You got to give a point to the question.
I mean, which
So
team do you
he's
think will go?
got
I
a
mean,
sense of
'cause
tiebreaker,
at this
it's
point,
overtime,
it's at a tie right now. So
Yeah.
which team do you think will go further in the playoffs? Do you think the youth or the knowledge of the age and the knowledge of the game? What tell me?
I would say the Knicks because of the coaching finally getting it together and them having more time together than the Nets have. I mean, the Nets, there's a few of them that played together, but the addition of key pieces like Joe Johnson and Wallace haven't really clicked. And Joe Johnson's been a little shady on and off throughout the course of the year so far. So I would say that chemistry thing is going to come to a factor, and the Knicks have been playing together for a while. So.
To be honest with you, it's really gonna be determined on seeding. That's the reality of it. Whoever has the better seeding come playoff time. But I gotta go with the Nets. They something about the team together, and this is the team that they're gonna have. They're not worrying about trying to work Amari Stoudemire back into the offense, and we know what happens when he comes and him and Melo at the same time. The Nets don't have that problem. They're gonna continue to get better without having to worry about any mid-season additions and bring in stat back. That's gonna make the difference. We know what happens when you have Amari and Melo. We've seen that. We have not seen them work well together, and that's something
that wasn't
that you
the
have
question
to get used
anyway.
to.
The first question, or whatever you want to do.
But that was the
however you wanna
tiebreaker.
give
He
it.
said it was even, so that was the tiebreaker.
So we disagreed on the last question. There has to be a point given.
No, because it's like at this point in the season, both teams, they have the same record. So you really can't say who was better.
So we got about 30 seconds left, so we got to give him a point.
I'm going with Statman on this one.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I mean, the old heads, I feel like they're going to play a pivotal role in the Knicks,
if they can walk come the end of the season, if they can still walk.
You're right. They'll play a pivotal role.
Their mouths go a long way for the young guys as well, motivating.
Exactly. Whereas you have the Nets, I understand they really don't have the same stakes, but I'm not quite sure they can get it done just yet.
I can see what I'm taking. I did 4 in a row. They wouldn't let me go for the 5, ladies and gentlemen, but I will be back to fight again. And, once again, Real Fans, Real Talk Live for myself, Sean Fontaine, Mark the Statman Scavenge. And shout out to Martellus Bennett for catching that fan at the stadium the other day. So shout out to them. To him for doing that.
Before we go, quick this day in sports history, and Tripping, you want to start us off?
Oh, yeah. In 1870, the New York Times dubs baseball the national game.
In 1960, Gordie Howe becomes the first NHL player to score 1,000 points. And also following year, and this day, 1961, Gordie Howe becomes the first NHL player to play 1,000 games. War number 9, which motivated Gretzky to wear number 99 because 9 was taken. All the information on blogs and everything on realfansrealtalk.com. Thank you all for joining us, and have a good night.
See you next week.